With European football back this week, we thought we'd try something a little bit different and take a look at what's going on in the Europa League and if West Ham United are on course to qualify for European football next season. We'll be using a few different methods, including points per game compared to last season's table, the remaining fixtures for West Ham, and the Hammers Chat supercomputer. We all know about supercomputers. We've got our very own one at Hammers Chat, so we'll be taking a little look later in the video if that is predicting West Ham to qualify for European football. But first, let's take a little look at the Europa League and just how qualification for European football next season actually works. On Thursday this week, the Europa League gets back underway with 8 ties, including Barcelona taking on Napoli and Dortmund taking on Rangers. The 8 winners will then go into the draw on the 25th of February, where the Europa League group stage winners are waiting for them, which of course includes West Ham United. The group stage winners, including the Hammers, will play their first game away for the last 16, which is on the 3rd of March, and then they will play the second leg at home at the London Stadium on the 17th of March. The interesting thing to note for European football this season is they've got rid of the away goal ruling. So home advantage in the second leg has just got that little bit better. So how does European qualification work in Premier League? Well, as always, first to fourth go into the Champions League, and England get awarded 2 Europa League spaces. The first one goes to whoever finishes 5th in the Premier League this season, and the second goes to the winner of the FA Cup. As well as that, we also get 1 spot in the Europa Conference League, which made its debut this season. That goes to the winner of the Carabao Cup. Since the final is being played out between Liverpool and Chelsea, I think it's fair to assume that they will both finish in the top 4. 6th place in the Premier League will currently be awarded the Europa Conference League. Of course, we have to take into consideration if the winner of the FA Cup finishes in the top 6 of the Premier League, that means 7th will get the Europa Conference League spot, with 6th place getting promoted to Europa League. Then we'll have to take into consideration the winners of the Champions League and the Europa League as well, but we'll deal with that in another video if it looks likely an English club will go on to win one of those competitions. So as it stands, 1st to 4th in the Champions League, 5th in the Europa League, 6th in the Europa Conference League, and the FA Cup winner into the Europa League as well. We're going to start by taking a quick look at last season's table, as Chelsea finished 4th on 67 points, with Leicester City just behind them in 5th on 66 points, West Ham just behind them in 6th on 65 points, and then Spurs a little bit behind on 62 points in 7th place. But that's what you needed in terms of points to get European football last season in Premier League. So are West Ham on course for that? Let's get the calculator out and take a little look. At the minute, we're sitting 4th in the Premier League on 41 points. This time last season, after 25 games played in the Premier League, we were also 4th, but we had an additional 4 points on board with 45 points in total. But let's start doing the calculations now. This season we're picking up an average 1.64 points per game, which multiplying that by 38 would give us 62 points. So 3 points worse off than last season. And last season that 62 points would have equalled us with Spurs in 7th place. So as it stands in terms of points per game, the Hammers are on course for finishing 7th in the Premier League, but as we know, not quite good enough to get European football unless someone wins the FA Cup and finishes in the top 6 of the Premier League. There are 13 Premier League fixtures left for West Ham United this season, so what we're going to do now is take a little look at the remaining fixtures. We're going to look at the results in those fixtures last season, and we're going to imagine West Ham replicated the results to this season. We're going to add up the points and see where that would place us in last season's final league table. So for example, we take on Newcastle United this Saturday. However, last season's Geordies beat us 2-0 at the London Stadium. But next Sunday, we take on Wolverhampton Wanderers. Last season, the Hammers smashed them 4-0 in Stratford. So that would give us 3 points to add to the table this season. It's followed up by defeat at Anfield before a win against Aston Villa at the London Stadium. Small disclaimer though, West Ham take on Brentford and Norwich City, both away from home between now and the end of the season. Last season, the Hammers went to the 3 relegated teams in Fulham, Sheffield United and West Bromwich Albion, picked up 7 points from 9. So we're going to award 4 points for the games against Brentford and Norwich in our hypothetical league table, keeping in line with being a pessimistic West Ham United fan. If we were to replicate all our results last season, we'd only pick up 1 win in our final 8 games against established Premier League teams. So excluding Norwich and Brentford, who got promoted, the final 8 games of this season, the Hammers only picked up 1 victory in them 8 fixtures, and that was against Burnley at the London Stadium. If we were to replicate all the results with 4 points for the Brentford and Norwich games, that would give West Ham an additional 17 points from 13 games, just 1.3 points per game. So we take that 17 points, we add it to our current 41, that would give the Hammers a final total of 58 points in the Premier League. And taking a look at last season, that would put West Ham United in 11th in the Premier League. But if we were to add on that extra 2 points for a victory away to Norwich instead of just a draw, that would take us up. That would give us an extra 19 points, taking us up to 60 points in total, but it would only be enough to finish 9th in the Premier League. So West Ham, when looking at the remaining fixtures and the results next season, we have to do better if we want European football next year. Now it's time for the Hammers Chat Super Computer. You've seen the ones on Sky, on BBC, but you've never seen the Hammers Chat one because we've never done it. We've got the secret algorithm. It's set up, it's ready to go. So what we're going to do now, we're going to turn on the supercomputer and see what it predicts for West Ham at the end of the Premier League season. The way it works, I'm just going to go on the website into one of those predictor things, just put in all the results I think will happen between now and the end of the season, push calculate, see what it gives me. Anyway, I filled in all the results bar West Ham United. So what I'm going to do now is fill in all the West Ham ones with yourselves, and you can see where I've gone wrong and where you think I've gone right. You can let me know if you wish. But what we're going to do now is see where it takes us at the end of this season. So for West Ham against Newcastle, I'll go 1-1. I'll go 1-1. Obviously, when you do these things, you have to take things into consideration, which I haven't, which is form. Injuries, I can't predict them, so I'm not taking them into consideration. Then European football, not going to lie, can't be bothered having a look up when all the European dates are and trying to work out if I think Liverpool and Man City are going to advance in European football. And obviously I've not done calculate, so let's just go with it. Let's fill the West Ham ones in. So West Ham 1, Newcastle 1. The next week we take on Wolves. Unfortunately, I'm going to go for a defeat in that one. I've been impressed by Wolves. When I've done this, I've tried hard not to just keep putting Wolves wins, but it's difficult. They're very impressive, aren't they? Away to Liverpool. Unfortunately, I'm going to go for another defeat at Anfield. I'll go for 2-1 Liverpool. And then we're at home to Aston Villa. But you know what? I'm going to back the boys. We're going to have to win one of them, aren't we? But Villa have been one of those teams, they look good, but are they good? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I watch them, they look fantastic, but other times I watch them, they look average at best. So I'm going to say we beat Aston Villa at the London Stadium. And then it's the London Derby, isn't it? Away to Spurs, and I'm going for it. Going for a West Ham win. They're just a bit of a mess at the minute. Obviously, between now and that game, Tottenham have a few games, as do we. But bear in mind, I think we might beat Villa the week before. Bit of a confidence boost ahead of the big one. So I'm going to go for a sneaky West Ham 1-0 win. Then we take on Everton at the London Stadium, who, they're desperate, aren't they? They look a bit better under Frank Lampard. But when we go to play them at the London Stadium, Lampard will be in full flow. He's got his team, he's got his formation. I was going to go for a West Ham win, but I think I'll go for a 1-1 draw because they're still in a little bit of a relegation battle at this point, aren't they? But you'll have Richarlison on the left, Calvert-Lewin down the middle. You might have something out of Dele Alli by the time we play them. So I'll go for a draw at the London Stadium. Then we go away to Brentford, and I'm going to go for a 2-2. I'm going to go for Desmond, my favourite scoreline. I'm going to go 2-2. I remember how they beat us at the London Stadium, and they were good. Their front pair were excellent. Caused us all sorts of bother at the centre backs. So I'm not sure we're going to win. I can't say it with confidence. So I'm going to go for a draw. Brentford 2, West Ham 2. Moving on to match day 33, we take on Burnley. Again, I'm going to go for a draw on that one. No, actually, I'm going to go for a West Ham win. Burnley they're not very good, are they? They don't have Chris Wood, so they start with like a -1 goal when they take on West Ham. Burnley. It's a bit like when we take on Watford without Troy Deeney, Brighton without Glenn Murray, Arsenal without Theo Walcott. You start with -1 goals. Unlucky. Moving on, away to Chelsea. Chelsea win. Home to Arsenal. I quite like Arsenal. I think Arteta's doing okay. They don't concede many goals. Unfortunately, I'm going to go for an Arsenal win in that one. And then we take on Norwich. They're scrapping for their lives, but you know something, I don't really rate them. No, actually, I'm going to go 3-1 West Ham. I'm going to say 3 goals, 3 points at Carrow Road. I'm tempted to push calculate, see where that pushes. That must put us in with a shout of European football. Second last game of the season at home to Man City. They might have won the league by this point. That might change things, but I'm going to assume they haven't. And I've been putting City to win every single game, I think, so I'm not going to stop now. I think we're going to get a hiding. And then finally, we're away to Brighton. Oh, I've just realised. Go back, that's Mark Noble's last ever home game. Can't get beat 3-0. 2-0. Moving on to the last game this season. Away to Brighton. I mean, what a crucial game this could be. I like Brighton. Right, ready, push, calculate. Let's see what I've got for the final league table. The Hammers Chat supercomputer says 8th. You what? Oh, I've missed some results. What's this? Brighton have played 36 and finished above us. Oh, I've missed a couple. Where are they? Oh, they're way back. There's all these COVID games, isn't it? Well, this is just dreadful. The supercomputer is broken. The supercomputer is broken. Well, I feel like doing a Brighton defeat here just to try and level up a bit. Right, let's just do... I'm just sticking in numbers now, as you can probably tell. I'm a bit worried about putting these in. But let's just see where it goes. Let's see where it takes us. Is that everybody done now? I think it is. There we go. Now we've got the league table. I've got Wolves in 4th. That's what the supercomputer says. I've got us in 9th. That can't be right. 9th. I don't like the supercomputer. The supercomputer is sacked. That's how I've got the league table. Burnley going down with Norwich and Watford. Wolves somehow finishing the Champions League. Man City winning the league. And then I've got Tottenham in 5th. Oh, I didn't think I gave Tottenham that many points, actually. I was trying to mark them down a little bit. But there we have it. What I will say, the gap between 9th and 10th, I suppose, is quite big. It's 8 points, but that would be disappointing. Surely I've overscored Brighton here. Anyway, there you have it. Now for the last part of will West Ham qualify for European football. No maths, no algorithms, no supercomputer. It's just my opinion. I think we'll finish 7th. If you ask me now what my prediction is for West Ham between now and the end of the season, I'm going to say 7. I see it as the top 3 between Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea. That's that. That's 1st, 2nd, 3rd done. Then I think there's 5 teams vying for 1 spot in the Champions League, 1 spot in Europa League, 1 spot in Europa Conference League as it stands. And then 2 people will currently miss out on European football, that being 7th and 8th. So let's have a quick look at the teams. There's obviously ourselves, a bit out of form at the minute. Some players need to step up and do better. But if you look at the points per game tally, we're doing alright. We're on course for 7th. However, if you look at the fixtures, it doesn't look too good, does it? We've got some difficult fixtures coming up. So we're going to need to do better. We're going to need to improve between now and the end of the season if we want European football. And I think we'll do alright. But the problem is we've got the Europa League taken into consideration as well, because I've got absolutely no doubts Moyes will field his sort of cup final 11, if you want to call it that, in the European games. And I hope he does. He has to. That's surely going to have an impact on our league as well. We don't have a big squad. We're going to suffer a little bit. So 7th, and at the start of the season, like I said, if you told me 7th and we will do well in European football, I'd have been happy with that. Let's take a look at the other teams though. You've got Wolves. They're quietly going about their business, aren't they? Not conceding many goals at all. Scoring enough to get them points as well. They look good. Well organised. Different way of playing to what Nuno had them playing. Bruno Lage has done fantastic at the Molineux at the minute. They've got the big players performing. It's hard not to admire what they're doing. That's why when I did the supercomputer part, I was probably a little bit too generous to Wolves. Do I think they'll finish 4th? Do you know what? You can't rule it out, can you? You cannot say no. When you look at that and you think, surely not. And then you think about it. I mean, Brighton, you go, surely not. And I think that's fair. But the Wolves one, when you then think about it, you think, well, actually, why not? Because Tottenham are just a shambles at the moment. I say a shambles. They're just very Tottenham. Spurs remain Spurs. Conte already seems a bit pissed off there. They have one good game, 2 bad games. That's not good. You cannot do that. That is not good enough to get Champions League football. So, you wouldn't put your money on Tottenham finishing 4th, would you? And then you've got Arsenal. I think they're doing a little bit better than Spurs. I'm a bit more impressed by Arteta than I am by Conte thus far. So while Spurs have 1 good game, 2 bad ones, I think Arsenal have 2 good games, 1 bad one, if that makes sense. I think Arsenal will finish above Tottenham this season. That's what I reckon. I think North London shall be red come match day 38 of the Premier League. And then you've got Man United. I mean, that's just a circus at the minute, isn't it? Everything's going wrong for them. Ronaldo's bang out of form. Their captain, Harry Maguire, is all over the gaff at the minute. You've then got people complaining about the manager already. And I say people, I mean the players. The players are complaining. Pogba's back, but again, contract talks. Everything's around Paul Pogba. Everything's going wrong for Man United. It just does not seem like a happy camp. And I think in order to perform at your best, to get the best out of your team, you need to have a bit of a happy camp. We've seen teams in the past where you look at Chelsea, where it doesn't go well for them. They get the manager sacked. The next manager comes in with the exact same group of players, just boosts morale, has them playing a little bit better. Results follow. So I'm ruling out Man U for 4th. I'm ruling out Tottenham for 4th. And I think I'm going to rule out West Ham. So it becomes between Arsenal and Wolves, in my opinion. But like I said, as for West Ham, I think 7th, perhaps. But as it stands, 4th gets Champions League, 5th gets Europa League, and 6th gets Europa Conference League. 7th gets nothing. 8th will get nothing. There's no way 8th can get something in the Premier League. So that's bad news for us, because out of the race, I see it, like I said, I see it as a top 3, then a 5 to make a top 8. Out of that top 8, one team is definitely not getting European football next season. Whoever finishes 7th, well, the better hope whoever's in the FA Cup goes and does them a favour. But of course, none of that matters if West Ham win the Europa League, because that gets us Champions League football next season. We might just do that. We'll cover that in another video. Anyway, if you enjoyed this one, drop a like on it. It's a little bit different. Like I said, I was a bit grumpy yesterday after the the draw to Leicester City. I was feeling a bit grumpy, so I thought I'd do something a little bit different today and focus on West Ham getting European football next season. You never know, do you? 7th. It might be enough. Anyway, let us know in the comments where you think West Ham will finish this season, if they will qualify for European football. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and I'll be back tomorrow, probably with a completely different video. Catch you in a bit.